Welcome to the channel, guys. My name is Jess. So it is seriously crunch time for Bitcoin in the markets right now. The high time frame charts are showing signs of a local bottom, and with economic news coming out just around the corner in a few weeks, there is some serious potential for an actual bullish shift. However, we're going to dive into the shorter time frame charts today and talk about what exactly the price action needs to do to confirm this new bullish trajectory, and otherwise the signs that you need to watch out for a false reversal. Let's get into it. As always, before we dive in, make sure you guys smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday, and sign up to my free Telegram for more regular Bitcoin updates. If you're a trader and you're interested in joining my VIP trading channel, be sure to message me down below on Telegram for more details. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. So jumping into the charts, guys, let's start off with those potential macro bottom signs. We talked about them in my last video, and obviously the price action has since developed, but if you missed it, essentially what we're looking out for was that prior weekly candle close as well as the 3-day candle close that both happened on Monday earlier on this week. So on that weekly candle close, we can see here we tapped this level of support right there. We moved into this liquidity zone right there, but we managed to bounce on it thus far as a level of support. And we're currently moving in to retest that prior break of structure level right here at $112,000. Now, on the weekly chart, obviously this wasn't the most bullish close that could have happened, right? We dipped into this liquidity zone, but on the shorter or slightly shorter time frame charts, if we zoom into the 3-day chart and even on the daily chart, we could see that Bitcoin was very clearly testing some major levels of support. And so while those supports continued to hold at that point in time, there was a potential here for a bottom to develop on Bitcoin. Now, moving on to the 3-day chart, we can see that in the most recent last segment of the correction there and moving into that weekly and 3-day candle close, Bitcoin also went on to tap the 50 EMA, this blue dynamic trend line that we've got right there, as well as the 3-day Gaussian channel, which has historically been a major indicator for periods of high time frame correction, which would in this case have taken Bitcoin all the way down, first of all, to the midline at $100,000 and potentially lower to $93,000, the base of that Gaussian channel. Now, taking a look at the 3-day candle close, again, similar to the weekly chart, we tested it as a level of support. We closed above the 50 EMA as well as the Gaussian channel in this instance. And so looking at those sort of high time frame charts, there is a potential here, as particularly when we move into such periods of potentially bullish economic data, for Bitcoin to see a reversal or a local bottom developing before the consolidation and then eventual, aggressive reversal with the economic news. In terms of economic news, on Friday, the 5th of September, so that is tomorrow, we have non-farm payrolls coming out, and obviously that gives us a lot of information about the way the US economy is going in terms of jobs, and that has generally been very important in terms of dictating the next period of economic policy. And that leads us to the next instance of really important economic data that we have coming out, and that is, of course, the next federal interest rate decision. So it's in less than 2 weeks now. It's on the 17th of September. And currently, in terms of perceived probabilities, we're sitting at a 96% chance of seeing an interest rate cut, right? So clearly the market is rallying into that upcoming news. It's very soon, less than 2 weeks away. And a lot really hinges on what happens there, right? Because if we rally into it expecting bullish news and we do not get a rate cut, or if non-farm payrolls data ends up being bearish, we could see quite an aggressive correction for Bitcoin. So let's dive into the shorter time frame charts now and talk about what exactly we're watching for in terms of signaling the confirmation of this reversal for Bitcoin, and otherwise the false reversal signs that we need to be watching out for moving into this period of high volatility and high stakes. So heading over to the daily chart, we can see pretty clearly right now that Bitcoin is sitting at resistance, right? It is the same level of resistance that we mapped out on the weekly chart, being that huge break of structure level, that sell side liquidity. And here on the daily chart as well, we can see it similarly acting as a resistance. We have it over here as resistance, flip above, test of support, and once again right now as a resistance. So the first thing that we really want to see here on the daily chart to confirm the beginning or the potential even for that reversal is a flip of $112,000 both on the daily time frame over here, and to sustain the flip of that to a base of support for long enough for the weekly candle close as well to flip back above $112,000, right? Because right now, the way it looks on the weekly chart, despite the fact that we've bounced on the 3-day Gaussian channel and the 3-day 50 EMA, is still that we've had a breakdown from support, a breakdown from sell side liquidity, and currently a move up to retest resistance, right? And at retest of resistance, if we do not push back above it, we're going to see a continued breakdown, a confirmation of the breakdown, and a continued bearish trajectory. So first step is here on the daily time frame with the flip of $112,000 to that level of support. We can see we attempted to do it back here, right? Moving just above and closing above 112, but in the retest of that level, we can see it did not hold as a base of support. We lost that level and continued down to $107.3 thousand. Now, zooming into the shorter time frame charts, we're on a 4-hour chart. This is where we can truly sort of watch for the triggers that are going to signal a bullish continuation for Bitcoin beyond the point that it has reached so far and above 112,000, and otherwise what is going to signal, I guess, the end of the recent bullish move upwards and a potential rejection from 112k. So the first thing to note here on the 4-hour chart is our short time frame downtrend. This is the downtrend that's taken us all the way from the all-time high at 124 and throughout the entire recent correction down to 107.3 thousand. Now, across or throughout this entire period, Bitcoin has printed consistent lower highs. We have our first lower high over here at 116,000, and again once again over here at 113,000 as well, ranging down to 112.5. Now, in all sort of break of structures or breakout signals, the first thing we want to watch out for is that first prior high, right? If we've broken out of the structural downtrend or the trend line itself, we're now watching for the first high, so that throughout this entire segment of price action, Bitcoin will move on to print its first higher high, thereby signaling a reversal and a potential continuation upwards to then the next prior highs and then the range high at 123k. Now, that is the resistance that Bitcoin is testing right now. We can see it mapped out, first of all, by this candle close here at 112, and the resistance ranges all the way up to this wick at $113.5 thousand, with confluence at our 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart as well. Now, currently, we can see Bitcoin is rejecting. We tapped right on that sort of resistance there with this wick at 112.5k, and we're currently seeing a rejection. So things aren't looking all that great on the 4-hour chart. And if we pull up the RSI as well and take a look at what momentum is doing, we can see hidden bearish divergence. So we have lower highs thus far on the price action, right? We're testing that level, but we haven't cleared it just yet. It's a lower high right now. And momentum is printing higher highs, right? So we have this sort of build up of buying pressure, but it's still not enough to push Bitcoin past the points in the price action where it will actually become bullish, right? We're still struggling against 112k resistance. And so things on the smaller time frame aren't looking that great. And if we continue to reject here, we're looking for a movement below the 50 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, also falling below our short time frame base of support here as well, right? And we're very likely to then see a bearish continuation to retest prior lows at 110k and then potentially $107,000, thereby failing to break above 112k on the daily chart and potentially failing to do that on the weekly as well. So objectively speaking, while we're still currently retesting and holding above macro levels of support such as the 3-day chart, Gaussian channel, and the 50 EMA, thus far on the short time frame, we have not done enough to truly signal a reversal just yet, and that the bottom is actually, and we haven't really confirmed that just yet on the short time frame. So it really is crunch time for Bitcoin right now in terms of the next segment of price action and whether or not this eventual sort of false reversal is going to lead to a continued bearish move, or if we're actually going to be able to achieve all the things we just talked about, pushing above that prior high on the price action and beginning the next leg upwards or the start of a new uptrend here for Bitcoin. Now, before we wrap up, let's really quickly talk about the position of the rest of the cryptocurrency market as Bitcoin moves into that sort of really critical decision-making period. So over here on total, we can see that we are in a high time frame bullish structure. We have a descending wedge pattern over here, moving into a huge base of support at our, I think, 5-month uptrend right now. So we're moving into massive levels of support. We've just tested this liquidity zone here at $3.68 trillion and thus far seen a bounce. So in this sort of really pivotal moment for Bitcoin right now, as we retest huge levels of resistance and potentially establish a high time frame bottom, Total and the rest of the cryptocurrency market is primed for a pretty aggressive reversal upwards as well. So big moments to be watching out for. And otherwise, if Bitcoin fails to, break out over here and we see a continued tumble downwards, we may see another correction for Total back down to test the base of the structure and our 5-month long uptrend and moving into this liquidity zone. Alrighty guys, that is a wrap on today's analysis. Thank you for tuning in for another episode. If you enjoyed it or you learned something, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel to get regular Bitcoin analysis every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And sign up to my free Telegram for more regular Bitcoin updates. If you're a trader and you're interested in joining my VIP trading channel, be sure to message me down below on Telegram. VIP gives you exclusive access to my personal trading setups with exact entry points, targets, and stop losses. And sign up down below to beat you next to get 15% off your trading fees as well. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.